Hey everyone, Amanda here with Unwind Flow Yoga. For today's class, we're going to be doing our level 2 yoga for the spine. We're going to get started right away, so when you're ready, come into a tabletop pose. Coming onto hands and knees, let's spread the fingers nice and wide here, bringing the knees underneath of our hips. And then finding a neutral spine here, just getting ready for cat and cow. So as you're ready, on an inhale breath, drop the belly down towards the ground, bring the chest to the arms, look up. Exhale, around the spine, press the mat away. Linking up with our breath, inhale, come forward. Exhale, round, press the floor away. Try one more just like that. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, press and round. From here, neutral spine. We're going to get a little bit more specific here. So we're going to see if we can originate this movement from our tailbone here. So just notice where your tailbone is in space. And then on an inhale, start to reach that bottom vertebrae up towards the ceiling and then articulating through the spine, moving nice and slow into that cow pose. And then on our exit here, start from the tailbone once again. Round the spine here, starting at the tailbone. Maybe the head moves last. Try that 2 more times. See if you can articulate the spine in space here. Moving slow. Exhale. Linking up our mind and the body. This is our last round here. And exhale. From here, coming into a neutral position here. So feel the front ribs hugging in towards the front hip points here. So nice and long through that back body, feeling like we could rest something on the back of our body, like the pose sounds, like a tabletop. And then we'll take our right leg, extend it out, keep the toes down onto the floor. So we're seeing if we can keep that neutral position even before we lift the leg up. Make sure the fingers are spread wide, press the palms down, and then slowly start to lift that right leg, maybe only a couple inches because we're being aware of when we start to lose our low back. So you see what I just did there? See if you can dial it back in. I'm going to rest my toes down so I can start back at the beginning. And then keeping everything the same as it is, lift that right leg up. From here, notice what's working in the body. So I can feel my hamstrings working, glutes on the right side to keep my leg lifted. But notice that I don't feel it in my low back. So if you're feeling it in the low back, drop the leg a little lower. Maybe the toes come down onto the floor. Extra challenge here if the leg is lifted. Start to point the toes and then make tiny little circles here. So maybe only about an inch around, tiny little circles in one direction. Once again, notice what's working. Feel that sitting bone area start to work. Reverse directions of the circles. And if you start to feel this in that low back, just make your way out, back to have the toes down on the floor. One more circle. And then knees come back together. Take a moment, sway the hips side to side, maybe even make circle with the body. Come back into that neutral position, reset here. We'll do that left side. So take the left leg, extend it out back behind you, and then keep everything exactly as it is. Press the floor away, feel strong through the entire structure of the body. Start to hover the left toes off the floor. Notice if you lost your pose. Where do you need to reconnect a little bit to find that strength, find the structure? And then choose to stay here, paying attention to what's working in the body. And then maybe point the left toes. Maybe start to make those circles just about 1 inch wide. Noticing tiny movements here, but articulated movements. Changing directions here. One more circle. Exhale, knees come together. Once again, sway the hips a little bit side to side. And then we'll get ready for downward facing dog here. So maybe walk the hands a step forward, tuck the toes under. Before you move back here, just sink the hips back towards the heels. Notice as you start to shift the hips back, the arms start to work here as they really press the mat away, like you could stretch your mat apart. And then before you lift all the way up, just lift the knees. And then use the strength of the legs to lift the hips all the way up into your downward facing dog. Take a few breaths, pedal out the legs, bend one knee and then the other. Maybe even make this a full body flow here as you wake up the body. And then as you're ready, just return towards a neutral downward facing dog. For this variation today, bring a soft bend in the knees to lift the hips higher, really exaggerating the length in the spine. So from the tailbone all the way towards the back of the head, allow the head to hang in between the arms. And then take your inhale, walk the feet towards the hands, come towards a forward fold. As you inhale, take the hands to the shins, lift halfway and lengthen here. So we want to think about lengthening through our entire spine. Exhale, release, fold forward, drop the head down. Take your inhale, slowly rise, lift all the way up, arms rise. And then exhale, take the hands towards the heart. From here, creating even more length in the back line of the body. Take your inhale, arms reach up, and then grab onto your left forearm with the right hand. Start to reach up to elongate the left side of the body, and then reach over to the right side of your mat. Keeping the chest open here, the entire left side body. Take another breath in, lengthen. And then exhale, come back through center, switch sides. Left hand grabs onto the right forearm. Think about reaching up and then over towards the left side of your mat. Anchoring through your right foot. Using that as your starting point, and then right side body almost endless here in space. Inhale, slowly come back through center, release the hands, and then hands come down through heart center, Tadasana pose, arms by the sides. Coming into our flow here, and it's a little bit of a variation on Sun B with some additional little techniques for our spine to really incorporate a sense of full body strength. On an inhale, lift the arms up. And then as you exhale, let's start to sink the hips back behind us, coming into Utkatasana chair pose. So the bend and the lower of our pose is coming from the hips, not the knees. Looking down at the knees, making sure they're more so over the ankles than they are over the toes. Take another breath in. Exhale, take the hands towards heart center, and then pour all of your weight into that right foot. So start to lighten up through the left leg, and then step the left foot back behind you for crescent lunge. Soft bend in the left knee, sweep the arms up, crescent lunge. Look down at the right leg. Right knee is over the right ankle, and then spine is in that neutral position. And I feel in my body it's really easy for me to let go of the rib cage and turn this into a back bend. Keep the front ribs hugged in, just like when we were in our tabletop pose. From here, coming into the flow. So we're pressing down through that right foot, using the strength there to fold halfway forward. Arms sweep by the sides, chest is forward, spine is long. Inhale, rise back up into crescent lunge, arms are lifted. And then from here, we're gonna lower the back knee down towards the ground, nice and slow. Left knee to floor, coming into low lunge. Keeping the arms lifted, hands can come to the hips as well for extra support. And then from here, we're gonna rise back up using the strength of our right foot. So all of the strength, all of our weight is in that right foot. See if you can press yourself back up into crescent lunge. Hello. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, fold halfway forward, sweep the arms. Inhale, arms rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hands to floor, step the foot back. Pause there. Notice the difference, right side, left side, you'll probably feel it. And then we'll flow here. So option to stay in downward facing dog, or inhale, rock forward, plank pose. Knees or toes to lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, roll the shoulders onto the back body. Tops of the feet are down. Elongate through that lower back especially. So press the fronts of the thighs down and then lift up into cobra pose here. Shoulders are back, elbows are in. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes under, press up to the knees, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. On an inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, let's bend the right knee, stack the hips, and then open the hips up towards the right side of your mat. So right knee is lifted. And then see if you can pay attention to where your tailbone is in space. If your tailbone is like all the way over to the left side of the mat, see if you can draw it back towards the midline as you reach the right knee a little higher. Exhale, right foot steps in between the hands, pause. So we're in crescent lunge with the hands down. And then we're really going to get this awareness into that right foot. So you'll really remember this class, that footprint of that right foot into the floor. You stay there. Feel that right leg start to turn on. Start to lighten up the fingertips. So fingertips away from the floor. And then peel the front body off of the thigh to rise yourself back up. Hello. Our same little flow sequence. Take a breath in. Exhale, halfway forward, straighten the back leg, arms long by the sides. Inhale, rise. Exhale, coming into that low lunge. So bend the left knee all the way down to the floor. Pause for the inhale. And then exhale, presses you back up. Flow the hands by the sides, chest forward. And then stay here, pause. Take the hands towards the heart. We're going to come into warrior 3. So our right leg should really be talking to us right now. That's exactly what we want. So we're pouring all of our weight into that right leg so we can get light in the left, lifting the left leg off the floor. Thinking back to, once again, our tabletop pose when the left leg was lifted. See if we can keep this and then rise back up, Tadasana. Yes, so we've made it. Take the hands by the sides and then a few breaths there. Noticing the difference, right side, left side. Trying that whole thing on the left. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hands towards the heart. And then we start to sink the hips back, coming into that chair pose. So hips are sinking back into that imaginary chair. From here, all the way into that left leg. So it's almost like our entire pose is balancing on this left foot. Slowly sneak the right leg back behind you and then come into crescent lunge. I like to softly bend that back knee so I can keep my spine in that neutral shape. It really helps me to access it there. Front ribs stay hugged in. Chest is lifted. Take another breath in. And then from here we flow. Sweep the arms by the sides. Straighten that back leg. Chest forward. Inhale, rise back up. As you exhale, bend the right knee down towards the floor. Keep the arms lifted and then take a moment to really connect to the footprint of this left foot. This is our first time lifting up on the left. As you're ready here, press all the way down with that left foot. Reach yourself back up. Exhale, flow forward, chest forward. Inhale, rise, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Exhale, let it go. Stay here or flow. Inhale, rock forward, high plank pose. Knees or toes lower all the way down. Untuck the toes, roll the shoulders onto the back body, lift up, cobra pose. Exhale, lower back down. Tuck the toes, press up and back, downward facing dog. As you inhale, left leg lifts up. Bend the knee here, stack the hips, open up. And then pay attention to your tailbone once again. See if you can bring it a little bit closer towards the midline as you lift the left knee a little higher. On an exhale, left foot steps in between the hands. Keep the hands down. We're really getting into this left leg on this cycle. So take your time here. Slowly start to lighten up the fingertips. And then peel the front body off of that front thigh to make your way into your crescent pose. Take another breath in. Exhale, flow halfway forward, arms sweep by the sides, lengthen out that back leg. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, lower the back knee down towards the floor. Pause here in a low lunge. When you're ready, slowly use the strength of the left leg to press yourself all the way back up. Exhale, flow the hands forward, flow the hands back, coming into that halfway pose, and then hands come towards the heart, coming into warrior three. So all the way is in that left foot, so we can gently pick the right leg off the floor, coming into our warrior three. Ooh, it might be a little windy where you are, like it is for me. I know that left leg is shaking, making the balancing just a little bit more challenging. Let's take another breath in. Exhale, Tadasana pose. Feet come together, hands by the sides. Take a moment to shake it out. Noticing all that strength and activation here helps us to keep our poses in the muscles, so we're not relying on the structure of our spine to make our poses possible. Just a little bit more standing here. We're going to get into a little variations of our spine that we haven't gotten to yet. So come to face the long edge of your mat. We're just going to come into a variation of triangle pose for a moment. Feet are nice and wide here. We're going to take our left toes, point them out towards the top of the mat, and then right toes are slightly in here. It's a nice and high triangle that we're going to move through, so you don't need a block or anything. We're just going to use the hand on the shin. A little bit of technique here. With the left foot that's pointed forward, notice the direction of the knee. So my toes are pointed forward, but my knee is on an angle. I want to make sure the knee is pointing in the same direction as my toes. So hands on the hips to keep them in line here, and then see if we can move, like turn the knee out so it's the same direction as the toes. As we do that, we're going to feel this right hip turn on, similar to what we were just working on. That's what we're looking for here. So noticing this activation, that'll help us keep the length in our spine. Once you're there, take the arms nice and wide, and then reach the left fingertips forward. Reach as far as you can, and then keep everything exactly the same. Just take the hand towards the leg, and then the opposite arm comes up towards the ceiling, and then you have the option to look up, look forward, or look towards the leg. Your choice. Noticing the length of your spine here. Noticing the support in the sides of our waist here as we get longer in our pose. Taking the next inhale, come back through center. Take the hands to the hips. Left toes are going to point forward, so feet are parallel once again, and then come into a wide leg forward fold. Hinge at the hips, bend the knees if you need. Take the hands towards the floor. Feel the head dropping down. Lengthen out through the backs of the legs. And then inhale, come halfway forward. So fingertips underneath the shoulders, lengthen the front body. Take one hand and then the other onto the hips. And then triangle pose on the second side. So right toes point towards the back of your mat, now the top of your mat. Other toes point slightly in, and then we'll do that little arrangement for our knee once again. So soft bend in the knee, but notice what direction it's facing. So mine's on a little bit of an angle. I want to turn it out so that it's pointing the same direction as the toes. And keeping the hands on the hips as you make that little arrangement will help to make sure as I move my knee, my hip will just kick out to make that possible. I want to keep everything in alignment, and the hands will help give you that feedback. So just a little bit of technique, something to take with you. Extend the arms nice and wide here, and then once again, reach the fingertips forward. Nothing else changes. Stay strong in the legs. Drop the hand towards the thigh. Opposite arm reaches up. And then you have the option even to rest this opposite arm here. So my this side here that we're stretching is a little tighter than the other side. So as I'm relying on its strength, sometimes the arm just feels like it's a little too much. Look wherever makes sense for you, but stay connected to the legs. So feet are pressing into the floor. Take another breath in. Exhale, slowly come back through center, hands to the hips. All 10 toes point in the same direction once again, hinging at the hips, dropping the head down. Release the hands to the floor. If that works for you, drop the head. Notice where you feel sensation in the body, where you feel activity. And then an option to stay right here if you'd like a little bit more rest, or we'll take this into a twist. So walking the fingertips out in front of the shoulders once again. Bringing the right fingertips just underneath the chest, so more towards the center line. And then take the left fingers, reach them up towards the ceiling. So we're extending the chest out towards the left, keeping the hips reaching back behind us, crown of the head reaching forward. So we have a long spine in this twisted shape. Once again, you have the option to rest the hand on the back body or keep the arm lifted, your choice. Take another breath in. Exhale, we'll switch. So left fingertips come down to the floor. Keep the spine elongated. So if you need that reset here, please take it. And then opposite arm comes up towards the ceiling. Noticing as we twist here, this sense of rejuvenation in the body, creating more space, more openness, more awareness. Take another breath in. Exhale, slowly release. Bring the hands down. If you twisted, walk the hands back underneath the body here. And then as we spend the next few minutes here, even try to interlace the fingers behind the head. Just give the upper body a little bit more weight here as we fold forward. Noticing that you can hang here because of the strength of your legs. Take another breath in. Exhale, release the hands. And then use an inhale to lift the chest halfway. Bring the hands up towards the hips. And then come all the way up to standing. Heel toe the feet together, coming towards the top of your mat. Maybe give that a little bit of a shake there. From here, coming into one more standing balance pose. And this one is, might be a little bit challenging, might be a little fun. This will be great if you come back to this class and you can see if you've made some improvements in your standing pigeon. So when you're ready, hands to the hips, pouring the weight into that left foot, take the right knee in towards the chest, and then cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And then same as we did in our chair pose, can we sink the hips back? And that's what's gonna lower us into our pose. Keep the hands on the hips, maybe take the hands towards the heart, and see if we can just balance here. Let's take another breath in. And then exhale as you came in, make your way out. Bring the foot to the floor, shake that out. Second side here, hands on the hips. Bring pour the weight into your right foot this time. Bring the left knee into the chest and then cross the ankle over the thigh. Can you sink the hips back and use that to lower yourself into your standing pigeon? Maybe hands are on the hips. Take the hands towards the heart. Same principles still apply here. Thinking about that footprint of the left leg. Elongating our spine here. Tailbone back, chest forward. If you fall out, that's okay. Come right back in. Take another breath in. And then slowly come back through center. Hands by the sides. Take a moment, shake that out. And then make your way all the way down to lie onto the back. Setting up for one round of bridge pose here. So feet are on the floor, about hip distance apart. Arms are along by the sides. Pressing down through the heels to lift the hips up. And then coming into whatever depth makes sense for you in your bridge pose right now. If you want to keep it a little lower, if the muscles feel a little bit fatigued along the back line of the body, keep it lower. Or you can really press the hips up. Lengthening the knees forward, feeling the space in the chest. Staying here for 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hips down towards the floor. Gently sway the knees side to side. And then we'll turn this gentle sway into a twist. So you can take the arms out to the sides. Widen the feet as wide as your mat. Make this a windshield wipering sensation a little larger. And then maybe next time the knees fall all the way over to the left. Allowing the legs to be heavy here. Looking over the right shoulder if that's comfortable for you. Seeing if you can just let everything go. Take another breath in. Exhale. Use that next breath in. Slowly bring the knees back up through center and then drop them over to your right. Maybe head looks left. As you soften into your twist here, bring the awareness back to the breath. And then see if you can draw in a sense of gratitude for the spine. This important structure in the body. Extending gratitude to the entire body, noticing how everything works together as a community. But sometimes things just need to be activated. We just need to bring our awareness into certain areas, and that's what we've been able to do today in our class. And these techniques we can take with us into our other yoga practices, into our other fitness activities, into activities of daily life. Take another breath in. Exhale. As you inhale, slowly bring the knees back through center. And then extend into your final pose. So extend one leg and then the other. Bring the arms along by the sides. Palms face up. Give the legs a little bit of a shake there, a little bit of a sway. Maybe lengthen the tailbone out there, making sure you have lots of space here. Enjoying a few moments of rest here in Shavasana. If you have more time, you're welcome to stay right here. But if you need to transition back into your day, start to wiggle fingers and toes. Circle wrists and ankles. Move the head gently side to side. Start to wake up the body. Reach the arms up and overhead. Reach long. Exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Take a little sway side to side. And then roll over onto your left side. And gently pressing yourself up into a seated pose, ending off our class here. Coming into a comfortable seated position, and then notice the length in the spine here as you sit. Feeling more grounded in the sitting bones and feeling a little bit more of that lightness in the upper body. On that next breath in, reach the arms all the way up. Exhale, palms touch. Take the hands through heart center. Take a moment once again to thank yourself for making it to your mat today. Thank you all for joining me. Until next time, namaste.